With John Cena reportedly locked in to not only appear at WrestleMania 36 but wrestle, fans are wondering who the face that runs the place is going to wrestle. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 5 rumoured opponents for John Cena at WrestleMania 36. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Number 1. Bill Goldberg. There are several variables as to who Cena will face at WrestleMania, one of them being who emerges from Super Showdown with the Universal Championship. While WrestleLamia's money is on the Fiend retaining, you never know what strange scenario Vince McMahon will concoct to keep his Saudi financiers happy, and a legend like Goldberg going over the Fiend is one way. Still, WrestleLamia's money is on the Fiend returning, setting the stage for Goldberg and Cena to clash in what would be a dream match. Fans may have heard Goldberg isn't wrestling at Mania, but the reality is that the show is nearly 7 weeks away, which means Vince McMahon can throw money at whomever he thinks will boost the show, and chances are Dollar Bill will gladly take another hefty payday from McMahon. This is arguably the biggest match on the paper out of all 5 selections, particularly if Big Bad Bill somehow defeats the Fiend at Super Showdown for the Universal Championship. That would give Cena the chance to break Ric Flair's record of 16 World Championships, and take note, this is a WWE record, not a historically accurate one. Number 2. Elias. This matchup came out of nowhere, but as we noted in our earlier news video, Meltzer talked up Cena facing Elias at this year's Showcase of the Immortals. If you watch WrestleMania 35, you'll remember Elias doing his thing playing guitar and aggravating the crowd when John Cena showed up in his Dr. Thugonomics outfit. Cena laid into Elias with some battle raps before taking him out with an attitude adjustment. The rumor going around is that the WWE wants to follow up the segment with a match this year, but frankly, this makes no sense since Elias and Cena are both big baby faces. Unless the WWE wants to turn Elias heel again, doing more switches than the Big Show, don't count on seeing this match happen. Number 3. King Corbin. Now we're definitely hoping the WWE will wrap up the Roman Reigns feud with King Corbin after Super Showdown, culminating in a cage match, but the WWE's tendency to run programs into the ground has us thinking it might continue up until the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. In a perfect world, Roman Reigns defeats King Corbin at Super Showdown on 27th February, and Corbin is looking for someone to take his frustrations out on. Enter John Cena, who's scheduled to appear on the 28th February edition of SmackDown, and WWE could set up a segment where Corbin could ambush Cena with or without his henchmen Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, setting things up for a WrestleMania match. While Corbin isn't in the same league as Cena, he brings something special to the ring, his well-known ability for working light, which means there's much less chance of Cena getting hurt before he heads back to Hollywood. Cena and Corbin could have a good match, and Corbin could even get a bit of a rub from working an uppercard program with one of the greatest performers in WWE history. Number 4. The Fiend. The situation with Bray Wyatt is complicated, so before we get into the odds of Cena facing him, we need to set the stage for what should happen. There is no doubt the WWE has done a superb job with the characters of Bray Wyatt and The Fiend, taking the worn-out character of Bray Wyatt, that being worn out thanks to bad booking by the WWE rather than due to anything Wyatt did, and rejuvenated him. It's hard to think of anyone who has gotten over so quickly so soon in many years, and as Wrestlelamia has repeatedly noted, The Fiend is a character who needs to be protected. Right now The Fiend is an unstoppable monster, and it's impossible to think of a way for The Fiend to be pinned or submitted given how he's been booked. Right now the WWE needs to continue feeding opponents to The Fiend, whether it's current stars or legends such as Goldberg. The Fiend should go over Goldberg at Super Showdown, setting things up for his next opponent, John Cena. While Cena shouldn't go out looking like a punk, he should put The Fiend over at WrestleMania, continuing the fan speculation as to whether anyone can defeat him. Number 5. Roman Reigns. Reigns and Cena have met before, but the match is big enough that we could see it happen again. We don't think the match is likely to happen though, and here's why. WrestleMania 36 is likely to see Roman Reigns battle for the Universal Championship, either taking on Bill Goldberg or The Fiend. If Goldberg somehow defeats The Fiend at Super Showdown, expect a rematch on the grandest stage of them all, where The Fiend recaptures the title. However, we think what is more likely to happen is that The Fiend will retain, with Reigns winning the Elimination Chamber match and facing him at Mania. In the unlikely event that Reigns doesn't wrestle the Fiend, look for him to wrestle Cena, with Cena passing the torch to Reigns and building the big dog up for his first match against the Fiend, likely at SummerSlam if it doesn't happen at WrestleMania. And number 6, a Fatal 4-Way. Now this one is definitely a wild rumour, but what if the WWE chose to put Cena, Goldberg, Reigns and The Fiend all in one match for the Universal Championship? As crazy as this sounds, it could get the championship of The Fiend without him losing and building things up for a rematch between the champion, most likely Reigns, and The Fiend. But there you have it guys, 5 possible opponents for John Cena and 1 possible gimmick match for him at this year's Showcase of the Immortals. Are you excited to see Cena back in action? If so, who do you want him to wrestle against? Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.